Tuscaloosa to frenzy. Firing. Touchdown, Alabama.
SEC champions, Alabama, Crimson Tide.
We talked about Alabama. Step back three. Money. And the Alabama Crimson Tide will roll into the Final Four. Roll Tide.
Roll Tide and welcome to Tide TV This Week. I'm Roger Hoover, joined by Nicole Griffin. And Nicole, it's great to have you with us this week. Roll Tide.
I am so excited to be here, Roger. Roll Tide to you as well.
Exciting time for Alabama because it's March, and that means it's time for March Madness. And both Crimson Tide men and women have been taking part in the big dance.
The men are competing in the East bracket, and this past Friday, the number 2 seed Crimson Tide opened the NCAA tournament with a first-round matchup against 15th seed Robert Morris.
Alabama would jump out in front early thanks to a 14-4 run to open the game. Crimson Tide held a double-digit lead on 3 different occasions in the first half, but the Colonials battled back to cut the Tide's lead to just 4 at the break, 46-40.
Leading 62-58 with just under 9 minutes to play, Robert Morris used a 7-2 run to take their only lead of the game. It's 65-64. Then Grant Nelson returned to action for the first time since injuring his knee against Florida in the SEC tournament, and the Tide responded with an 11-1 run of their own to take the lead and control the game for good.
Mark Sears scored 19 of his team-high 22 points in the second half as the Tide rolled to the round of 32 with a 90-81 win in the opening round of the NCAA tournament. And after that Friday win over Robert Morris, it was number 2 seed Alabama advancing to the round of 32 to take on 7th-seeded St. Mary's.
A win over the Gales would send the Crimson Tide to the Sweet 16.
Chris Youngblood started the game off with a great shot from beyond the arc. Youngblood would lead the Crimson Tide with 13 points as he knocked down 4 of 5 from the floor, including 3 of 3 three-point shots. And then there was the play inside. Alabama attacked the rim with the alley-oop after alley-oop in this ball game. Grant Nelson got one in an emphatic slam, and the majority, of course, went to Clifford Amori.
Amori threw down several slams, including this incredible reverse slam on the pass from Mark Sears. With Alabama up 3 with just over 7 minutes to go in the first half, the Tide went on a 13-3 run to stretch the lead to 37-24. Alabama led for final 28-plus minutes of the game as the Tide rolled into the Sweet 16 for the 3rd consecutive year with the 80-66 win.
Clifford Amori finished the game with a double-double for the 11th time this season as he totaled 10 points and 11 rebounds.
The win was Alabama's 27th of the season. It's also the 3rd consecutive year the Crimson Tide have made it to the Sweet 16 for just the 2nd time in program history. The one other time that happened was in the 1985, 86, and 87 seasons.
Alabama advances to that Sweet 16 with a matchup against number 6 seed BYU. The winner of the Crimson Tide and the Cougars matchup will take on the winner of Duke and Arizona coming up on Saturday.
The Alabama women's basketball team had a thrilling run in the NCAA tournament. We'll show you one of the all-time great performances in NCAA tournament history coming up next right here on Tide TV This Week.
Tide TV This Week is presented by Ford. Visit your local Ford dealer. Proud sponsor of the Crimson Tide, the University of Alabama, where legends are made.
In every moment, greatness awaits. For the bold, the visionary, and those ready to take their shot. Here, we don't chase success. We define it. The University of Alabama, where legends are made.
Welcome back to Tide TV This Week. I'm Roger Hoover, joined by Nicole Griffin. With this year's NCAA tournament berth, the Alabama women's basketball team has made it to the NCAA tournament 3 consecutive years.
And their 3rd consecutive NCAA tournament appearance began in Maryland with a first-round matchup against number 12 seed Green Bay. It was the first ever matchup between the Phoenix and Crimson Tide.
Winners of 22 in a row, Green Bay, the Phoenix started the game knocking down the first 2 baskets, but from there the Crimson Tide would respond with a 10-2 run to take the lead at 10-8. Crimson Tide used another 10-2 run to close out the second period as Alabama would take a 9-point lead to the locker room at the half, 38-29.
Alabama led by as many as 13 in the third quarter, taking a double-digit lead into the final 10 minutes of play at 58-47. The Tide continued their hot shooting in the fourth, making 7 of 8 from the floor to lead by 14, 75-61. Alabama then closed out the game, knocking down their final 4 shots from the floor to advance to the round of 32 for the third year in a row with the 14-point win over Green Bay, 81-67.
In that round of 32, 5th seed Alabama took on the 4th seed Maryland on their home floor. The winner would advance to the Sweet 16. A 3-pointer early in the second quarter gave the Terrapins a 7-point lead over the Crimson Tide. Maryland led by as many as 10, but Alabama finished the half strong, knocking down 5 of 6 shots from the floor to take a 2-point lead into the break at 41-39.
Alabama got hot in the third period, knocking down 5 of 7 from beyond the arc to take a 17-point lead with just over 3 minutes to go in the third. But the Terrapins battled back and tied the game at 83, all on this 3-pointer with just 12 seconds to go. One last chance to win it in regulation, but the jumper from Carly Weathers was just a bit too strong, and the game would go into overtime.
Maryland led for most of that first overtime period. Down 3 with the final seconds winding down in the ball game. It was Sarah Ashley Barker fouled in the act of shooting a 3. So with that, she got 3 free throws and down 96-93. Sarah Ashley Barker hit them all with ice in her veins, send it into his second overtime.
With Maryland up 3, the Tide had one last chance to tie it, but the inbound pass from Carly Weathers would be knocked away, and Maryland hung on for the win in double overtime, 111-108.
That was an amazing basketball game. I mean, for anybody who was watching women's basketball, I think we put on a show for women's basketball tonight, and I'm very thankful for that. I'm very grateful that I'm in this opportunity, and I was able to be a part of such a great game like that. Maryland has such great players. They have a great coach. And I mean, their coach said to me in the line, she was like, you know, no team deserved to lose that game just because of how great of a game it was. And I definitely agree with her on that. Just, I mean, if you're a women's basketball fan or anybody that loves basketball, I think that every single person could say that was one of the best games they've ever watched.
What a record-breaking performance from Sarah Ashley Barker. She finished with a school record 45 points. It was also the most points by any SEC player in NCAA tournament history. Barker also holds the school record for most field goals in the game as she knocked down 17 of 25 from the floor, including 4 of 6 from beyond the arc. What a performance by Sarah Ashley in what turns out to be her final game for the Crimson Tide. Christy Curry's squad finishes the season with 24 wins.
It was a big weekend for the Crimson Tide. Along with the NCAA tournament appearances, the Alabama baseball team hosted the #1 ranked Tennessee Volunteers. Could the Crimson Tide upset the #1 Volunteers? We'll talk about it coming up next, right here on Tide TV This Week.
Tide TV This Week is presented by the University of Alabama, where legends are made. Ford, visit your local Ford dealer, proud sponsor of the Crimson Tide.
College baseball is the best. College baseball in this league is the absolute best of the best because you get the energy, you get the crowd, you get all that. You got 6,000 people in there and that place rocking. That's why you come play college baseball right there.
Roll Tide, I'm Roger Hoover alongside Nicole Griffin, and this is Tide TV This Week. March is a busy month with postseason play for basketball and, of course, all of the spring sports in action.
And Roger, the Alabama football continued practicing this week as the Tide wrapped up week 3 of spring practice.
Coach DeBoer and the Crimson Tide practiced twice this week. The Tide hit the field for their first practice of the week on Tuesday. Alabama then held its first scrimmage of the spring on Thursday. That scrimmage took place on the Thomas Drew practice field behind the Mal Moore building. Coach DeBoer met with the media following Thursday's scrimmage.
Just a lot of give and take. Some guys up front did a nice job getting in the backfield at times. I thought we were consistent in the run game offensively. Held out a few guys beyond the injuries that have been from the beginning. A couple guys that got a few nicks, just giving more opportunity for some young guys to go out there and show us what they got. Just got some number issues at a couple positions, and so want to make sure we get the right guys reps to where the whole team can get value, and all of a sudden not put a guy in a spot where he doesn't know what he's doing or can't execute at the level that we need to challenge maybe someone across from him and get a quality rep from even the other side of the ball. So liked what I saw. Thought there was a lot of improvement through this week, and that's what you got to have. It was only 2 practices, but I thought it was 2 good ones. Beautiful day out there. How can you not enjoy it?
The Crimson Tide will wrap up spring practice with the annual A-Day event on April 12th. It's Saban Field inside Bryant-Denny Stadium. Admission is free and it begins at noon.
The Alabama gymnastics team began postseason competition this past weekend as the Tide took part in the SEC championships in Birmingham. The 8th seed Crimson Tide took part in Session 1 along with Auburn, Georgia, and Kentucky. Gabby Gladio posted the highest all-around score of Session 1 as she finished with a total of 39.5. Gladio got the night started with a 9.9 on floor. Lily Hudson then tied her season high on vaults with a 9.925, the 3rd time she's reached that mark this season.
Ryan Fuller posted a career-high 9.950 on the uneven bars from the number 5 spot in the lineup. Alabama finished the night on beam. Gabby Ladany scored a 9.9 for her 3rd consecutive score of 9.9 or higher. Shania Adams sealed the Session 1 victory for the Tide as she scored a season-high 9.9 in the anchor spot. Alabama won Session 1 with their 2nd highest road score of the season, 197-1. Despite the win in Session 1, Alabama would finish 5th overall at the SEC championships.
Alabama now turns its attention to the NCAA Regionals, where the Tide will host for the 17th time in school history, beginning next Thursday.
For more on the gym Tide hosting the Tuscaloosa Regional here, we're joined now by our Jace White and head coach, Ashley Johnston.
I'm joined by Ashley Johnston, head coach of the Alabama gymnastics team. Coach, congratulations on another hard-fought Mudita-filled season. You guys are coming off of a win against Michigan and a win in Session 1 of the SEC championships. How do you feel like the team is shaping up ahead of the NCAA regionals?
I'm so incredibly proud of this team. Team 51 has been through its fair share of adversity, ups and downs, but what I'm so proud of is their fight, and I'm so proud of their resilience, and I think they are peaking at the perfect time of year. They're believing in themselves, they're believing in their team and what they're capable of, and I think it's all coming together at the right time of year.
You are set to compete in Session 1 next Friday here in Tuscaloosa at 1 o'clock of the NCAA regionals. And obviously we are facing Cal, Iowa, and North Carolina, 3 teams we've already faced this season. How does that change the preparation at all?
You know, it doesn't really change the preparation from a sense of we're not an offense-defense sport, but I do think it helps from a standpoint of it's familiar. We've already competed against UNC, had great competition. We've competed against Iowa. We're able to pull off a victory over that team. And then Cal is a team that I think we have circled as a revenge tour.
Right, and Coach, obviously this season has been amazing with the fan support. What is your message to the fans?
Yeah, it's so important for our fans to show up. They really have been difference makers throughout this entire season, from the fan support at competitions to also just the encouragement and love that they've poured into this team as they have gone through a lot of different learning growth moments to be prepared for where they are right now. And like I said, this competition, it is a pressure cooker. It is the toughest competition. Every single team across the country will say that. And so it's an extreme advantage for us to be right here in our home arena, able to look out in the stands and see our fans, our community pour in their love and investment for Alabama gymnastics, I really believe that will be the edge that helps our team walk in feeling prepared, confident, and believing that they can have a great competition.
All right, awesome, Coach. We're looking forward to it. Thank you so much for your time, and we're looking forward to seeing Alabama gymnastics compete right here in Tuscaloosa next Friday at 1 o'clock. Thanks again, Coach, and Roll Tide.
Thanks so much. Roll Tide.
The Tuscaloosa Regional begins next Thursday with Clemson and Rutgers competing, and the rest of the field begins at 1 on Friday.
The Alabama baseball team was at home this past weekend at the Joe as the 12th-ranked Crimson Tide took on #1 Tennessee. Tennessee did win games 2 and 3, but the Crimson Tide upset the #1 ranked Vols in Game 1. Volunteers jumped out to a 3-0 lead with a 2-run homer in the first, and a Crimson Tide error was costly in the second. But from there, the Crimson Tide responded with a 5-run inning in the bottom of the second. A couple of walks with the bases loaded made it a 3-2 game. With the bases still loaded, the nation's RBI leader, Justin LeBron, cleared the bases. He sent a pitch all the way to the wall. Bases clearing double, that gave the Crimson Tide their first lead of the game at 5-2.
With Alabama up 6-3 in the 6th, Tennessee's Reese Chapman crushes one that looks like it's going over the wall in the right, but the Tide's Bryce Fowler times it perfectly and made an incredible leaping catch to rob the Vols of the home run. An amazing play by Fowler kept the Vols off the scoreboard until the 7th. Tennessee added a couple of runs there in the top of the 7th.
One last chance for Tennessee in the 9th. Vols got the tying run on base, but he's thrown out second on that perfect throw from Plattner. Pop up to right ends the game for the final out as Alabama upsets #1 ranked Tennessee in Game 1, 6-5.
The Tide won that opening game over the Vols, but would drop the final 2 games of the series for just their second and third loss of the season.
After their second SEC series of the season, Alabama now sits at 4-2 in the league, just 1 game out of first place.
Alabama got back out on the diamond on Tuesday night as the Tide traveled to Madison to take on North Alabama.
With the score tied at 3-all in the 9th and a runner on second, Justin LeBron just did Justin LeBron things as he singled down the left field line to score Will Plattner for the walk-off win. Alabama improved to 23-3 with the 4-3 victory.
Alabama is once again ranked as high as 10th in this week's baseball top 25 rankings. This is the second week in a row the Alabama baseball team has been ranked as high as 10th.
Alabama will be back at home coming up once again this weekend. Rob Vaughn's Crimson Tide team will take on the 9th-ranked Oklahoma Sooners for a 3-game series beginning on Friday.
Don't go anywhere. We still have a lot to cover, including softball traveling to College Station, along with a couple of SEC weekly honors.
Is here in front of a full house at the Rhodes House.
It goes to the wall and it's gone!
We're going to be filled with Mudita like you wouldn't believe.
But this is a team that has been there, done that in terms of its history.
And we're going to do whatever we need to do to get back to Oklahoma City.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Roger Hoover. She's Nicole Griffin, and this is TideTV This Week. Nicole, the Alabama softball team hit the road this past weekend as Patrick Murphy's squad traveled to College Station to take on the 5th-ranked Texas A&M Aggies.
Going into the matchup, the Crimson Tide was 21-8 overall against the Aggies, including a 10-5 record all-time in College Station.
With the score tied at 1-all in the 4th, Caitlin Riley delivered the game winner. With 2 outs and no one on, Riley delivered the game-winning hit with a shot over the wall in center. Riley got the game-winning hit and the win in the circle as she allowed only 1 run over 3 innings for her 6th win of the year. Alabama got the win in Game 2, 2-1.
Alabama was back in action on Wednesday night as they took on North Alabama in Florence. Down 2-0 in the 7th, the Tide started their comeback. Callie Hevelin scored on a throwing error by the Lions' third baseman. Lauren Johnson then singled to right to score Abby Dushers to tie the game at 2-all.
Then Lauren Johnson scored the winning run on another UNA error. Kendall Clark gave Alabama an insurance run, driving in Riley Valentine. Patrick Murphy earned his 1,300th win as the Crimson Tide won 4-2.
congratulations to Coach Murphy on reaching that milestone. The win over the Lions improved Alabama's record to 23-12 overall.
Alabama is back at home this weekend at Rhodes Stadium as the Crimson Tide host the 15th-ranked Georgia Bulldogs for a 3-game series. Also, the Alabama track and field team picked up a couple of conference honors this week. Osama Bushabi was named the men's co-runner of the week by the SEC after his 800-meter victory at the Bulldog Relays in Starkville. He won with a national leading time of 1:47.48.
And Trevor Gunzel received Men's Field Athlete of the Week honors. Gunzel won both the discus and shot put titles, featuring top 5 national performances in both events. His 59.25-meter discus throw ranks 5th in the nation, as his 19.8-meter performance in shot put leads the nation.
And if you're like me, this is something you don't do very often, if ever. A hole-in-one. Junior Madison Frick hit a hole-in-one at the Florida State matchup on Saturday. Frick sank the hole-in-one on the 13th hole at the Seminole Legacy Golf Course in Tallahassee.
The Alabama women's swimming and diving team finished 15th at the NCAA Women's National Championships. Alabama concluded the championships with All-American honors in 8 events, led by 6 All-American performances from Cadence Vincent. Emily Jones finished with 4 All-American honors, while both Avery Wiseman and Kaylin Winter earned a trio of second-team All-America honors.
The Alabama men's tennis team picked up a big win at home over the Kentucky Wildcats. After picking up the doubles point, Crimson Tide picked up 3 singles wins to earn the 4-3 victory. The Tide will be back at home this Saturday to take on the 21st-ranked Oklahoma Sooners on Saturday at 1 p.m.
Stay with us. We'll have our plays and players of the week coming up next right here on TideTV This Week.
College baseball is the best. College baseball in this league is the absolute best of the best because you get the energy, you get the crowd, you get all that. You got 6,000 people in there and that place rocking. That's why you come play college baseball right there.
3-point area defensively. Oh, Morey! Corner, Nelson slithers inside. Covered with some heat.
Absolutely. What a catch by Bonamolo. Out to right. It is caught. What a catch in right. It'll clear the bases. LeBron, a 3 RBI double.
And Alabama completes the come from behind win, and that gives Patrick Murphy win number 1,300.
Here's a swing and a line drive deep down the left field line. Will drop in for a base hit, roll to the left field corner, and that wins it for the Tide. Head of the pack, Nelson! Upstairs, Alabama! My goodness!
To tie this game, possibly send us to a second overtime. Barker's made the first 2. Her third one on its way. Puts it up, puts it in. Tie game at 96. And those were our ATI Plays of the Week. Now let's take a look at our Players of the Week, brought to you by Legacy of Hope.
And we start on the hardwood with a record-setting performance in the NCAA tournament.
Sarah Ashley Barker. She scored a school record 45 points in the Tide second-round matchup of the NCAA tournament. Barker also set the school record for most field goals in the game as she connected on 17 of 25 shots from the floor. She was also efficient from three-point land, knocking down 4 of her 6 three-point attempts. Barker also set the record for most points all-time by an SEC player in the NCAA tournament.
Staying on the hardwood, we go with the Tide's big dog down low. Clifford Amori scored 17 points in the Tide's first round win. In round 2, Amori totaled a double-double with 10 points and 11 rebounds. His multiple slams and Hallie hoops helped the Tide dominate in the paint and advance to the Sweet 16.
And Gabby Gladio captured the all-around title in Session 1 of the SEC Championships. Gladio recorded 9 nines on the vault and the floor exercise. Her performance led the Crimson Tide to a victory in Session 1.
And Madison Frick hit a hole-in-one at the Florida State matchup on Saturday. The junior sank the hole-in-one on the 13th hole at the Seminole Legacy Golf Course in Tallahassee.
Some really great performances once again this week from our Legacy of Hope Players of the Week. And have you ever hit a hole-in-one playing golf?
Can't say I did, and I can't say I ever will, to be completely honest with you, Roger.
No, I've come within a foot sometimes and then 3-putted for bogey after that. So, story of my life. We will hope to see you back here next week for another episode of Tide TV This Week. Until then, have a great weekend, everyone. Roll Tide.
Roll Tide.
This has been a presentation from Learfield.